Well, I know you guys are probably, as viewers, showing us no mercy for lacking on these retros and being as tardy as we are and getting them out. But here we are. Uh, what seems like the never-ending train of going through every single pay-per-view before the pandemic, it seems. Tomas and I are stuck in the year 2006. We're doing the time warp again.
Sir,
Yes.
I just want to bring up that I watched the first half of this pay-per-view in June. It is now September.
Yeah.
Sorry, guys.
Say I apologize again. Real life does get in the way from time to
I
time.
was sitting in the parking lot of Best Buy waiting for the Nintendo Switch 2 to drop, and I was watching this pay-per-view. And I realized I never finished it. And
That's
I'm
so
like,
fucking
wow.
random. That's so fucking random.
3, 4 months later, I'm like, oh, okay, I should probably finish the show.
Did you end up getting the Nintendo Switch
Yeah.
2? Yeah. It's such a random thing because I was going to see, I don't even remember what movie it was, but I was at my local mall and the movie theater is right next door to where GameStop is. And I just see a line out the door outside this GameStop. And I'm like, why the fuck does this line look so long? Like,
Oh, yeah.
and it shows you how out of the loop I am on the latest and greatest in video games. I'm a movie guy. I'm a TV guy. I'm not so much a video game guy anymore.
Listen, the new Pokemon game is dropping next month, and I'll be damned if I'm sitting here not playing it while everybody else is. I'll be
Debatable.
damned.
Debatable.
I'll be damned.
So-
I'll be damned.
Anyway,
Well,
what
I saw
feels
The
like
Conjuring 2 last night, and honestly, it kind of sucked.
you mean the last rites?
Yeah, man, it kind
The
of sucked.
Conjuring 4. That's the Conjuring 4, sir. Get it right.
Yeah, it kind of sucked. Goes to
Yeah.
show how excited I am to talk about the show, considering I'm talking about mid-horror movies. Do you plan on watching him? If you
I
say
do.
no,
I do.
I was gonna say we were gonna have a fucking problem if you
Well,
said no.
it's a football horror movie that Jordan Peele is for some reason not directing. I'm looking forward to watching it and reviewing it with you guys. But
Oh yeah, it
this
drops
is-
on Friday, and I'm
Yes.
so hyped for it.
this is the ZNT Wrestling Show. He is Tomas, hailing from parts unknown. I am Zach, hailing from my apartment. We're talking about No Mercy 2006, what sounds like a review that is 3 months in the making. Again,
Yeah.
I apologize, guys. But this was a SmackDown exclusive event, and we're getting right down to the wire on these brand exclusive pay-per-views in the Ruthless Aggression era, because after WrestleMania 23, they would basically become extinct. Up until the second brand extension in 2016. But this
Which
paper
is a
for
damn
it.
shame because I love these brand exclusive pay-per-views. I thought it was a good way to get talent on the pay-per-view that otherwise wouldn't have to share the show with Monday Night Raw. And then,
Yes.
we talked about it before, when you got to the big four, when you got to the dual branded pay-per-views, you got to see those interactions that you usually wouldn't get to see on any other show. But nowadays, you have full-blown Monday Night Raw angles being run in the main event of SmackDown because running Raw in Chicago, that's just too hard for WWE to do.
I know, right? Yeah. Well, we do have shout out to good mic work. This show is emanating from the RBC Arena in the capital of North Carolina, Raleigh. A show or a venue that has held a couple of notable pay-per-views, more notably SummerSlam 2000, one of the more nostalgic SummerSlams, I feel like, of my childhood, a show I've watched a lot.
Let me guess, it was a great SummerSlam.
The site of the very first tables, ladders, and chairs match. Yeah, that's what made that show for me. But this show is headlined by a fatal four-way match, which is very interesting. And we'll get into the nitty-gritty and the details of that build. But it was supposed to be 2 separate matches. But because I guess WWE did not think King Booker versus Bobby Lashley would draw as a main event, they just merged another match into it and made it a 4-way. So,
And we are going to get into the great, wonderful trend of, especially on SmackDown, I guess they didn't have the star power. I think Vince was a little too scared to not have Batista in the main event because he was kind of carrying the main event scene and couldn't be world heavyweight champion for 3 years straight. But if he wasn't holding the title, he was chasing the title. And no matter how many times Batista was made to look like a goof, it's like it never happened because the very next pay-per-view, Batista would be right there challenging for the World Heavyweight Championship.
And so starts the pattern of Batista challenging for the World Heavyweight Championship or defending it at every single pay-per-view from this point forward up until the 2008 Royal Rumble. So
And
if you like
people
Big
are going to
Dave,
sit there and say,
yeah,
yeah. And people are going to sit there and say they're shoving John Cena down our throats.
no,
Look,
they
I love Big Dave.
arguably they were shoving Big Dave down your throat more.
Batista, I feel like a lot of people would disagree, but Batista's in my top 5 of all time. He was my
Really?
ultimate warrior, for lack of a better term. Loved him, but don't understand why. I mean, especially because his booking made him look like just a big dumb goof.
Yeah, big meathead, best wrestler turned actor though, that's for sure. And I'm saying that as a big fan of The Rock.
Yes, better than The Rock.
Yeah,
Close second to John Cena.
it also should be noted, this show does also have John Bradshaw Layfield as color commentator alongside Michael Cole, and this is very early JBL where he had no filter. So I'm very much looking forward to talking about some of the shit he says on commentary here, including for our opening contest between two North Carolina boys, Gregory Helms, the hometown boy from Raleigh, taking on Matt Hardy from nearby Cameron. Gregory Helms is still the Cruiserweight champion, by the way. And this match, like Great American Bash, is not for the championship.
I need to say this now. Every SmackDown champion is in action on this card. Only 2 of the titles are on the line. That's kind of egregious.
Bullshit. It's bullshit is what it is.
It's crazy because literally 3 years prior, Matt Hardy was the Cruiserweight champion, and he had that whole great story arc of him trying to keep down the weight so he could challenge for the Cruiserweight title.
Basically, Matt Hardy ate too many grapes in catering, and he can't challenge for the Cruiserweight title anymore.
I also want to say, if you're going to be stingy about the weight limit in the Cruiserweight division, TNA and Samoa Joe would like to have a word with you.
Good Lord. Yeah, Samoa Joe was 290 pounds, wrestling AJ Styles and Christopher Daniels for the X Division Championship on the regular. So
I think this was around the time, too, where I started watching TNA, and dare I say, I think TNA wasn't drawing me away from WWE, but it was a great time to have an alternative because, oh boy, I was kind of like mentally going through the next year or so with shows. Yeah. Shit's going to start getting really bad in WWE, and I mean really bad. We are still in the era where things are pretty solid still to a certain extent, but boy, oh boy, once we get past WrestleMania 23, shit's going to start sucking. It's going to start sucking.
I thought 2008 was a good year though. All things considered, with the Benoit tragedy happening the year before, like 2008 was a great rebound, I thought.
I think the summer of 2007 and a good amount of the fall, that was probably the deepest, darkest ages for WWE. Not only what they just came out of, but the product suffered.
Yeah.
I still think they're in a semi-good spot. Like there's still some questionable things on this show that we'll definitely be getting into. But
like the title not being on the line in this match.
Yes, Matt Hardy versus Gregory Helms. This is just it's a grudge match between 2 hometown boys that grew up together. And Matt is just disappointed in Gregory Helms that he abandoned his whimsical, free-willed spirit as the Hurricane to become this hard-nosed, stick up his ass Gregory Helms. But
Gregory Helms.
You look at Helms, he's the Cruiserweight champion. He's going to be the Cruiserweight champion for a very long time. I don't get what there is to dislike about him. He ditched the humor, and now he's a serious contender.
He's in the middle of that record-breaking reign, and I am going to die on this hill, but this version of Gregory Helms, I think at the very least, should have been Mr. Money in the Bank. Because that gimmick, I think, would have been perfect with this character. But
he never escaped the Cruiserweight box.
He never did.
Vince McMahon stuck him in the box, and he never escaped. And that was Gregory Helms' downfall. Gregory Helms is the nicest human being on the planet, and he would never fight creative. So he wasn't going to be raising a stink about that.
It's unfortunate. It really is. But this was a really great match. These guys, I think, mesh together very well. This goes back to their Omega wrestling days in North Carolina. Nothing to do with Kenny, of course, because he's from Winnipeg, you idiot. Matt Hardy also, it should be noted, hit a code breaker in this match. This is, keep in mind, a year before Chris Jericho made his comeback to the Fed. So, I mean, just really good near falls, a side effect slam by Matt Hardy. JBL is screaming, "What a matchup, Maggle!" Can you believe that?
Shining Wizard by Helms, which is great.
Yeah,
love that move.
That was
Love
his
when Helms
finisher.
uses that move.
That was his finisher. It should have been the Vertebreaker.
It should have.
He should have kept the Vertebreaker because that's more devastating than a Shining Wizard.
Yeah, even though Helms is Shining Wizard, he's in the top tier of people who deliver that move.
Yes. So JBL also, this motherfucker, he says on commentary, like, I think right at the beginning, he's like, well, Gregory Helms is the longest reigning champion on SmackDown right now, and he hasn't lost on pay-per-view yet this year, Michael. Sure enough, this is the match he loses. He telegraphed it.
Yeah.
He really telegraphed it.
Really, just seeing the champion get pinned, that's just wild to me.
Yeah, Matt Hardy.
If you're going to pin the champion, have the championship on the line.
Matt Hardy hits him with the twist of fate, and he pins Gregory Helms clean in the middle of the ring, again with no title on the line. 13-minute match. I thought this was really good. I don't think
it was a solid opener.
Yeah, I don't think it hit the 4-star level. I mean, I think the crowd got into it enough. I think it's better than the Bash match. I'm going to go 3 3/4. This is really solid.
Oh, okay. I was going to go solid opener. From what I remember of this match, I remember enjoying it. I'll give it 3 1/4, and that's a solid 3 1/4. I think these two mesh together very well. I mean, they're lifelong friends, and seeing that chemistry evolve in the ring is great. I think that's all this match was missing was the title on the line. And I think if the title was on the line, I don't even think Hardy should have gotten his win back. I think Helms should have just beat him and retained the title. Build the guy, make him look strong. But like I just said, Vince McMahon just had Gregory Helms in that cruiserweight box, and he was never going to escape it. Like for the rest of his run, he is Gregory Helms with the cruiserweight championship. And when he finally does lose the title, he goes back to being the Hurricane on a much, much, much smaller scale. Even though I think the Hurricane Helms gimmick in 2008 was hilarious as fuck. And I thought his work as the Hurricane in 2009 ECW was very underrated.
He was on ECW as the Hurricane, wasn't he?
Yeah, and he was a solid
Completely
worker.
forgot about that. Forgot about that.
And I thought Gregory Helms could have worked as a babyface too. It's just a damn shame that he had a ceiling. He had a thick glass ceiling, and Vince McMahon was never going to let him break it.
No, and it's unfortunate because Gregory Helms is ever the consummate professional, a phenomenal pro wrestler in his own right. He does not get enough credit for how good he is in the ring. It
definitely eases my mind knowing that he's backstage with WWE and he is producing some excellent matches.
Mm-hmm. Very much so. And it's good that he seems to be a lifer with this company and they respect him in that regard. So Matt Hardy goes to the back and he celebrates. JBL is like, "What a match, Michael. They stole the show." And I'm like,
the show just started.
The show just started, my friend. You got 6 matches to go. And remains to be seen.
Back up Shane Helms on Twitter. I'm sorry, no. Shane Helms delivers the greatest chokeslam of all time. Not Kane, not The Undertaker, not The Big Show.
Let me guess.
Chokeslam.
Let me guess. The double chokeslam on Stone Cold and Triple H in the 2002 Royal Rumble would have shook the building.
Yes, it would have. Hurricane should have fucking won that Rumble.
He should have,
It was a damn shame when John Cena eliminated him from the 2018 Rumble. That was bullshit, man.
And he tore his knee on the way out.
That was bullshit, man.
Big E threw him out of the 2021 Royal Rumble, and he lands flat on his ass. Like, right on his fucking tailbone.
I would have loved to tell John Cena to his face that the Hurricane could defeat the Peacemaker.
The Hurricane could also defeat the Scorpion King.
The fact that line had The Rock shook.
Yeah. Yeah. The Hurricane can defeat Mark Kerr.
He could. He 100% could. Yeah, with that being said, going into, is there any backstage segments?
Oh boy, yes there was. Yes there was. And it's actually one of the big stories of the evening. In the locker room, you have the World Heavyweight Champion King Booker preparing for his Fatal 4-Way Showdown, and Queen Sharmell is there. In comes William Regal, and this man is a national treasure. He did not deserve any of the shit that happened to him on this evening.
This is William Regal's no good, very bad, terrible day.
So Booker T tells Regal that he's got an assignment tonight because Finlay is in this World Heavyweight title match with Booker, and Finlay is not cooperating, being a member of the court, makes all the sense that Finlay would help his king out. But Finlay should want the World Heavyweight title, logically. So Booker has to tell Regal, I haven't heard from Finlay all day, so you got to go find him, and we got a game plan. So Regal is sent on a quest from His Majesty. Regal, again, he tried to make the most out of this. And he is, talk about consummate professionals. I still, to this day, think that Regal is the best to never win a world championship. It's a damn shame that he never did. But, speaking of titles, one of 2 title bouts on the evening, Tomas, and a lot of people do not remember that this match happened and that these challengers existed.
Oh, we talked a lot about in these earlier pods about how Vince McMahon loved the new toy syndrome, especially with the tag teams, how he would be like, oh, here's a new tag team. I'm going to immediately throw the tag team titles on them. Mm-hmm. And I thought that was going to happen in this match. Little did I know. Enjoy us talking about this while we do, because this is the only time we're going to be talking about this team on a pay-per-view.
Jeez.
Brian Kendrick and Paul London are defending the WWE tag team titles against Casey James and Idol Stevens, a.k.a. a very, very, very young Damian Sandow.
Exactly.
Can you believe that
welcome?
Damian Sandow was wrestling on WWE pay-per-view a whole 6 years before he would make his main roster debut as the intellectual savior of the masses.
Nope. I wouldn't have believed it.
Bit of trivia. But Damian Sandow was working OVW under the name Idol Stevens, and they brought him up to the main roster with Casey James to form this team, and I think just be victims to London and Kendrick. They had Michelle McCool as their valet, and Michelle McCool, fresh off the Diva search in her first gimmick, is a school teacher because, Vince McMahon loves his gimmicks, and he loves his sexy gimmicks, so why the fuck not? I think Michelle McCool gets a lot of flack nowadays for just being Mrs. Undertaker. I'm going to get a lot of heat for this, but I don't know. I think she's cool. I think she's fine. She doesn't bother me.
She is very McCool.
She is. Agreed.
Yeah. And it also should be noted that this gimmick is basically the female equivalent to what Matt Stryker was doing on ECW at the time, because his gimmick was all about following the rules, being a former history teacher, and when people did not follow the rules, he would get on the mic and reprimand them. And Michelle McCool was basically the same gimmick, but just eye candy. And
exactly
wasn't allowed to cut a promo.
And that's the unfortunate thing. There was no substance to Michelle McCool's character because she woman, so she had to be sexy.
Michelle McCool wouldn't get any character substance until, I want to say, 2009, 2010, when Lay Cool formed.
Yeah, 100%. And that's why I appreciate Michelle McCool. I feel like she gets a little too much flack. Apparently, and I get this, apparently she has taken over as co-host on Undertaker's podcast, and everybody hates her for it.
So what?
I mean,
it's
I understand.
Wife.
Yeah, it's just, I understand where the fans are coming from, but I swear, people are treating Michelle McCool like she's Sydney Sweeney all of a sudden. Yeah, I went there. I fucking went there. I went there.
So anyway, pretty decent tag team match here. I wouldn't say the wrestling was all that bad, and there wasn't anything technically wrong with it. I think the whole thing was, these hooligans are over Paul London and Brian Kendrick, and there's no goddamn way they're dropping the titles to these blokes.
And the thing with Stevens and James was they weren't a threat.
No,
they weren't the pit bulls. They weren't like Eminem. They weren't, you see them wrestle, and they were a fine tag team. I thought they had a couple of cool spots that showed their technical chemistry. I liked the double team backbreakers that they would perform. I actually saw this match at a SmackDown house show, I think, shortly after this pay-per-view.
Oh, and really?
And this match back. They're good workers, but nothing about the gimmick, nothing about them scream they are a legitimate threat to Kendrick and London's tag team titles.
No kidding.
And you hit the nail right on the head. Kendrick and London were just way too over at this point in their tag team run. I mean, they're a very charismatic, very energetic, very just white meat babyface tag team. They do the flips. They have the cool entrances. They have the cool matching ring attire with the matching masks. They have
Yeah.
Ashley Massaro in their corner, which was cool as fuck. There was nothing that screamed, put the titles on, custom wrestler number one and custom wrestler number two.
That you'd make on Day of Reckoning and
Yeah.
just use them in story mode. There was a cat fight on the outside between Ashley and Michelle. JBL is going gaga over it, of course, because, 2006 WWE color commentators. Kendrick and London eventually do make their comeback. I think it was Kendrick that got the hot tag. He hits his sliced bread number 2 finishing maneuver on, I don't remember who it was. It was one of them. But then Paul London doesn't even hit a 450. He hits a shooting star press off the back of his tag team partner to retain. 9-minute match. It was good for the time given. Again, nothing really technically wrong with it, but with who these guys were wrestling, foregone conclusion. Definitely. 2 3/4, I want to say.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It was a fine tag team. It was a fine tag team match. Nothing really wrong with it. And again, I hope you enjoyed this very, very, very brief retelling of Casey James and Idol Stevens, because they would never be on pay-per-view again. Don't know whatever happened to Casey James. Obviously, we know what happened to Michelle McCool. And like I said, a whole 6 years later, Idol Stevens would finally make his main roster debut as Damian Sandow, and the rest is history. And then Damian Sandow retired, and then he unretired, and he works for the NWA, which is just a screaming red flag to me. But there you go, a little nugget of trivia. This was actually Damian Sandow's pay-per-view debut with WWE.
I bet half of you people listening to this podcast had no fucking idea. But
and how could you tell? Because Idol Stevens was clean shaven, and if you ever seen Damian Sandow without a beard, he looks like a completely different person.
man, if you guys were in a battle of wits with Damian Sandow, you would probably win, because he gives you pretty simple questions. If you know your history and your general movie knowledge, movie trivia, if you know your science, that segment that he and Cody Rhodes had with The Rock before the Royal Rumble that year, that was great. Where The Rock basically was naming the 19th president of the United States, Rutherford B. Hayes, bitch.
Remember when Cody Rhodes told The Rock that he was a future WWE champion?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Little did we know. Little did we know.
Now, Cody got to finish his story. Cody got to finish his story right now.
Little did we know. Little did we know.
little did we know. Do we have anything else before this next match, or can I go into it?
No. And even though this match really isn't a whole lot of nothing, this is actually a very important landmark in wrestling history.
It is very, very important. So we have the WWE in-ring debut of one Montel Vontavious Porter, or for short, MVP. This guy was basically presented as, I was really starting to get into football. It was all the rage for me. I was playing on Pop Warner teams. I was starting to follow my beloved Seahawks.
That's
was
unfortunate.
starting to, I know, Mr. 49ers fan. Enjoy 3-0 while it lasts. But here's the deal. I was really starting to get into like how football worked at a young age and how contracts worked. MVP's whole gimmick was basically he was the highest paid star in SmackDown history. He got the entrance with the stupid little inflatable tunnel. He got fire. It was almost like it was a pregame football ritual for his entrance. And I thought it was really cool. MVP Antonio Banks at the time was an OBW standout. He was called up with this gimmick. And his gear, he goes into the ring and the fans start chanting Power Ranger at this poor guy. And
how do you describe MVP's ring gear? It's like a bodysuit, but it only goes up. I mean, this was the full bodysuit, and it was designed in such a way that I don't know how to describe it.
It stops where boxer shorts would on the legs, but it's basically a bodysuit from up above that. And he's got knee pads and blinging shoes. He's a Power Ranger.
You're right. He was a football player without being a football player, because he would wear the headband. He would, paint his face with, the war paint. He would have the breathe right strip on his nose. Yeah. He was blinged out, the sunglasses. And his whole gimmick was, you said it, he was the highest paid, free agent to come to SmackDown. And he created all this buzz around him. And he announced that his in-ring debut, his pay-per-view debut would be at No Mercy. And there's two things about this. Number one, it is crazy that we are looking at MVP's debut and almost 20 years later, he is still very relevant in today's wrestling scene.
Very much
when
so.
He made his return to the WWE in 2020. We all thought it was a one-off, let alone he signed a 3-4 year deal with WWE.
Something like that.
He became such a prolific manager, such a prolific presence on the show. And now he's in AEW doing the same thing, actually getting ready to wrestle this Saturday as he and the Hurt Syndicate take on Ricochet and the Gates of Agony. It's just so...
Yes.
I love how MVP has been able to just... His longevity in the business is definitely something to be admired. But here's the thing. This gimmick, this should have been a relic of its time. This gimmick should not have lasted as long as it did. And I think if anybody else was playing this gimmick, that's what it would be. It would be a gimmick.
It would be a gimmick.
Era. Yeah, you look at this era, and these gimmicks are just they're products of their time. They're very, what's the phrase I'm looking for? Just they're outdated. They're very outdated. We should be looking at MVP as Mantar, Adam Bomb, as hey, remember this gimmick?
Oh,
but
God.
No, MVP fucking lasted. And I think it's because he lasted so long is because he was a student of the game.
Yes.
He always wanted to improve. He was the type of guy that would wrestle his matches. He would immediately go to Gorilla and demand the tapes. He wanted the tapes of his matches so we can go and rewatch them and study them.
He's a football player. He's a football player.
Yeah, we're jumping way into the future here. But when he was unhappy with WWE, he requested his release. He wanted to go work Japan. He wanted to work the Indies. He wanted to continue growing and perfecting his craft. And I think that's why MVP is still around today. Now that I wonder that. I also wonder how the hell MVP survived after this sheer, unadulterated, verbal burial that JBL delivered
Holy
him.
Fuck, man.
I don't know what the fuck. I don't know if MVP cut JBL off in traffic or if he took the last cookie at catering, but JBL could not fucking stand MVP. And he made sure everybody knew.
And that's what is so hilarious about this. And first of all, before I get to that, I actually kind of want to disagree with the statement that you made that this gimmick would be outdated. 2025, I could honestly argue that the MVP character, it'd be more prevalent than ever, if not fit in more in today's WWE. And the reason why I say this, how much are quarterbacks paid nowadays in the NFL?
Too much. Too much.
Way too much. Dak Prescott is the highest paid quarterback in the National Football League, and he is a mid quarterback at best. I'm sorry, Cowboys.
Tool that guy is.
I'm sorry, Cowboys fans, but Dak Prescott is not worth the money that he's being paid. But with that
would
said,
you look at that? Me bringing up him at the beginning of this review actually was relevant to the review.
I mean, and to your point, I will agree with the verbal burial that JBL brought upon this poor man. And it's crazy because if you look at this show and you look at Armageddon a couple months after this, JBL is going to bat for MVP. And he is saying the situation MVP is in is totally unfair, yada, yada, yada. Teddy Long should be ashamed of himself, the brightest young star on SmackDown. And I'm like, weren't you just fucking, going on and on about how this guy should be facing tougher competition? Oh, by the way, MVP's opponent is proverbial jobber Marty Garner, because MVP is building up oh yeah, I'm here for the biggest, bravest competition, and he brings out the dweebiest looking jobber out of the locker room. And
if there's one thing I have to say about this match is that at the very beginning, MVP slaps the dog shit out of this guy.
Jesus.
Oh my God.
Holy shit, this guy took a beating. And
did this man take the last piece of chicken at catering? Did this man, take the last bit of toilet paper and didn't replace it? My God, MVP slapped this man like he owed him money.
4 things to note about this match. A slap in the face during the bell ring, Crowd chanting boring very early on. The crowd chanting Power Ranger at MVP to get under his skin. And then after 2 minutes, MVP winning the match with the worst goddamn finishing maneuver in wrestling history, the overdrive. This fucking thing does not look painful at all. Like, how could this be
which convincing he calls the playmaker? Yeah, now explain what the playmaker is.
It's literally, he drapes his leg over a guy's head who's bent over. He lifts up the guy's arm and then lays him down for a nap. It does not look. It does not look. It's such a stupid move. Like, seriously.
God, about a year into his run, MVP would adopt a much better finisher in the drive-by kick. A simple finisher, but a million times more effective. And near the end of his WWE run, he would adopt the play of the day, which was just a jumping SPO. If there was one thing I would love to give MVP is a better finishing move, because my God. Fucking God.
I thought that was Shelton Benjamin's finisher.
It was, but for a minute it was MVP's too.
Really?
And you would only know that if you watched WWE Superstars.
I didn't know that.
2011, that's all MVP was doing, was wrestling on Superstars. I did think it was very impressive how MVP did the drive-by, how he would step up on his opponent's knee and then deliver the kick. A much better finisher, a much fucking better finisher.
It really is.
To go back to JBL, you look at your classic heel commentators back in the day, your Bobby Heenans, your Taz's, your Jerry the King Lawlers. The heel color commentator has to have the ability to always justify the heel's actions. Look at Bobby Heenan. Like, and this may not be a good example, but like how good he was at it with like Hulk Hogan. If they always said that if Hulk Hogan could walk on water, Bobby Heenan would say, "Oh, look, he can't swim." Just that ability to justify somebody's actions and to just tear down the babyface. That's what a heel commentator should do. I don't know what JBL's vendetta was against MVP, but if MVP wasn't as resilient as he is, I don't understand how we could ever recover from that.
Yeah, JBL fucking eviscerated this man, and he called his performance pathetic, and he's like, "Oh, let's give this guy some real competition, Maggle." And the next 3 weeks, MVP would just be wrestling squash matches just to put over his shitty finisher. And then he gets real competition in the form of former Raw superstar Kane, which is a feud that we will talk about probably next year when we get to Armageddon at this rate. I don't really think there's a point in rating this thing. It was a squash match. MVP was showing off his new gimmick, and JBL ripped him a new asshole.
About the match itself, the whole point of a debut, because here's the thing about, especially back in that time in 2006, there's barely an internet. Wrestlers back in that time really had to get themselves over with first impressions. You look at nowadays and like Adam Cole coming to NXT, you know his entire resume, you know what he did in Japan, Ring of Honor, all that stuff. It's like a good portion of the audience knows who he is. Bryan Danielson in 2010. Everybody knew about his Ring of Honor run, his Chikara run, his Japan run, his Mexico run.
Yeah.
Everything you needed to know was on the internet. But when you're a guy in developmental who's been given this gimmick and is being put on the main roster, first impressions are everything. And I don't think this was a great first impression in ring-wise by MVP. Of course, he would get better. And MVP is going to become a very prolific character on SmackDown for like the next 6 months.
Definitely. And I would argue even beyond that, because once he wins the United States Championship, spoiler alert, he would go on to hold that title for ages. He would be the longest reigning United States champion until Jon Moxley broke that record in 2014. Yep. That's right. So
welcome to the squad, MVP.
Speaking of the United States Championship, do we have anything before this next match?
Yes, we do. So, okay. Did we miss anything with Regal? Because there was a reason why he was in the shower.
Oh, shit. Yeah, hold on. Let's go back. So,
and we have to talk about another in-ring segment. What do you want to talk about?
Oh,
no. You want to talk about the in-ring segment?
Let's just rip the in-ring segment off like a Band-Aid.
Okay, you want to talk about young stars that we're still talking about today? Mm-hmm. General Manager Theodore Long comes out to the ring, and there's a big birthday present in the ring. And he is here to introduce the host of SmackDown, The Miz,
Hoorah!
It is his birthday, and this is, oh my God, the youngest, stupidest, greenest, most embarrassing version of The Miz you're ever going to see in your
Hoorah!
life. So I know we've talked about The Miz before,
Hoorah!
especially at Armageddon 2005. After The Miz was the runner-up in Tough Enough in 2005, he was the one who actually got signed to a WWE contract. He was a real
Yep.
world. His gimmick was basically he was a real world reject. He dressed like a fucking idiot.
Hoorah!
Yeah, he was annoying as fuck. He was the host of SmackDown. He was a womanizer. I feel like The Miz was just
Debatable, but
experimenting with his character. And it was just so just like insufferable.
debatable. Debatable that this version of the Miz was a womanizer. By the way,
Well, considering what happened in the ring, kind of is.
I mean, he's kind of a dweeb. He really is.
He is. And you keep uttering a certain phrase. That was the Miz's catchphrase.
Hoorah!
And to shed a little light on that, the reason why Miz would say that is because his best friend was a Marine. And that's what the Marines yell. That's kind of like their rally cry. So it was a tribute to one of his really good friends, which is really sweet. But when it was on TV, one of the most fucking annoying things on the planet. Here's a fun little sentimental story. When The Miz debuted, I fucking loved him. I was a Miz mark. I was
There
a
you go.
Miz fan. And he was probably the first heel that I really got behind. I don't know why. There was just something about him, his zany energy that really captured me. And I would yell hoorah to annoy the fuck out of my brother. My
Oh, God.
grandpa noticed that and he started saying it too. That became a staple of my relationship with my grandpa. And yeah, like
That's awesome.
he would yell it out everywhere and like games, theater shows, he would just yell that out. And I'm just like, God damn, this one little wrestling reference became a staple in our family all the way up until he passed away. So
Have you
that's really
have you
freaking
met
cool.
the Miz?
Yes, I have.
You have. Have you told him that story?
I didn't. I met him at WrestleMania 31, and it was honestly not the most impressive interaction. He wasn't a dick, but it was more just like a handshake, a photo, and I was on my way. I didn't think about that, but if I ever meet The Miz again, of course I'm going to tell him that story.
Yeah, because that's like, I mean, that's gold for wrestlers if you meet them for sure. I was like, oh, man, I really hope he told the Miz that story if he met him. Because I thought you did.
My goals is to either meet Beth Phoenix or Vicky Guerrero and tell them that, hey, you were my grandpa's favorite. Like dead ass, no cap, no straight shoot. You were his favorite.
Excuse me, you were my grandfather's favorite.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So with that being said, now that I got off that tangent,
Okay.
The Miz is introduced. He's being annoying as fuck. He's yelling hoorah. And on the past few weeks on SmackDown, he's been hitting on. I'm noticing a theme with this pay-per-view. People making their debuts, and they're going to be prolific stars for the future. Layla, who won the 2006 Diva Search. And he's basically just not leaving her alone, being a total creep to her. It's The Miz's birthday, and Teddy Long says that he has a birthday present for The Miz. He brings out Layla to give a lap dance to The Miz, and The Miz is just being so horny.
And JBL also called him a Terry Taylor starter kit.
Oh yeah, JBL
like,
fucking hates The Miz too.
Fuck, yeah. And at least JBL keeps consistent with his hatred of The Miz through pay-per-views.
Yes.
So.
Oh yes. Yeah. And then so Layla starts doing a striptease to The Miz. The Miz is being horny as fuck. Layla puts a blindfold on The Miz, and she walks away and opens up a giant wooden box. And this is the introduction to Big Dick Johnson. Who is Big Dick Johnson? He was a writer for SmackDown.
I don't care.
So he was a writer for SmackDown, and he was this big, robust man. And Vince McMahon thought it'd be hilarious if, hey, you ever seen Jackass? You know, Party Boy Chris Pointis? You know how he would just rip off his clothes and would be wearing nothing but a thong and a bow tie, and he would squirt baby oil on himself and like dance around? Go do that. And Big Dick Johnson does that. He dances, he rubs himself up on The Miz. The Miz gets embarrassed. Michael Cole thinks it's the funniest thing in the world. And I got some bad news for you guys. For the next probably 3 or so years, this is going to be Vince McMahon's favorite running joke. This is the male equivalent to Mae Young and Moolah. And here's the thing. Mae Young and Moolah, there was something endearing about it. They always came out when you least expected it. The thing with Big Dick Johnson is you knew exactly when he was going to come out.
Yep.
Because Vince McMahon thinks big, fat, naked, oiled up men is the funniest thing in the world. And it's just, I feel bad for Christopher DeJoseph. He was just a man trying to do his job in the WWE, and he got put in this gimmick. Nothing against him, but just, yeah, it's just
sick.
It's probably one of the worst age jokes in WWE history. Say what you want about Mae and Moolah. Maybe that joke kind of got ran into the ground. But what I loved about Mae and Moolah, like I said, they came out when you least expected it.
Moving on.
Piano music and,
Yeah. Oh, the Mae and Moolah in hindsight was funny, but moving on.
It was.
I didn't need to see that character on my TV screen. And
Mae and Moolah is my favorite running joke in pro wrestling history.
Speaking of running jokes, what you were alluding to, William Regal is walking around backstage asking people where Finlay is, and he runs into Vito wearing a dress, and he asks him where Finlay is, and Regal can't help but stare at Vito, and he is like, "What? Why are you wearing a dress?" And I'm like, "Why not? Let him be happy." In hindsight, if he's happy wearing a dress, who am I to judge? Regal runs into a gigantic concessions guy. He gets mustard and ketchup all over his pristine suit. Later on, he has to go take a shower to wash all that gunk off of him. Vito, for some reason, is in the bathroom waiting for William Regal to come out. And for some reason, there's a joke being played on William Regal. He gets a towel pulled off of him, and he's running buck naked through the hallway. And Teddy Long
Before we continue, why was Vito looking at Regal's cock?
Hey, hell if I know. Who am I to question? Who am I to question what people like and don't like?
I'm sorry for going silent for a second. So I am answering a message.
That's okay.
I'll fill you in on that later. It's really stupid.
oh boy. Okay. All right. So Regal running through the hallway. Teddy Long comes up to young Master Regal, and he's like, Long is telling him, cover up. Matter of fact, put your gear on, playa, because you've got a match.
Why is Regal being punished for being naked in the hallway?
Why is Regal being punished? I don't know. I really don't know.
I want to meet a wrestler, and you have a cat.
I do have a cat.
I want to just meet a wrestler and ask them, hey, are you guys just looking at each other's cocks backstage?
I don't know. I'm just looking at this cat right now. I don't care. But Teddy Long is putting him in a match, which we will talk about. And for some reason, it's one of the best things on the show. And I'm like, and sitting in hindsight, you're thinking, oh, he's just going to put him in a match with Vito, and he's just going to embarrass William Regal. No, it's far from it. So anyway, I don't think we have anything else to talk about until this next match.
No. I could talk about Vito, but I'll spare you that. We already talked about Big Dick Johnson. I won't talk about how they massacred my boy Vito.
First he's dressing as Santa Claus, and now he's wearing a dress.
Now it's time. No. Yeah. You're right. He was dressed as Santa Claus. I'm sorry. I'm a little turned on my head right now.
He's out of sorts.
Anywho, now to go into our second, you heard me right, our second biggest storyline going on SmackDown right now. It is Mr. Kennedy versus The Undertaker.
Yep.
Not for the United States Championship.
Why?
Let's get into this. So,
why?
Mr. Kennedy defeated Finlay and Lashley in a triple threat match to become the United States Champion. At this point, Kennedy has defeated Finlay, Lashley, Rey Mysterio, Chris Benoit, Booker T, Matt Hardy. He is keeping count of all of the former world champions he's defeated. He's the United States champion. He's on top of the world. but he broke the one rule you never break.
I'm the best thing on SmackDown.
You never. There's 3 things you don't do in life. You don't spit in the wind, you don't tug on Superman's cape, and you never say, I am the greatest wrestler on SmackDown. Because those, you might as well insulted the Undertaker's mother.
Yep.
Because that draws out the Undertaker and says, bitch, keep my name out your fucking mouth. But I didn't say your name, Taker. You might as well have. You might as well have. So this is a big deal. Kennedy is being put in a program with the Undertaker. That has to be the biggest rite of passage a wrestler could receive in their career. And now it's time to see if Kennedy sinks or swim. Of course, Taker is playing all of his mind games with Kennedy. Kennedy is in the ring and he calls out the Undertaker. And when Undertaker comes out, Kennedy sets up his microphone to hit him with it, and Undertaker causes it to explode. Then Kennedy cuts probably the best promo of his career in this darkened room, vowing that he's going to defeat the Undertaker at No Mercy.
Which is saying a lot, because Ken Anderson is awesome on the mic. He really is.
I will never deny that, how Ken Kennedy, a beast on the microphone.
Yes.
An absolute beast when it came to promos.
Thank God he's an asshole, right?
That, honestly, that's all this match is. It's a rite of passage from Mr. Kennedy.
Yeah.
In hindsight, what was the point of putting the United States title on him when A, it's not on the line in this match, and B, he's going to lose it shortly after this pay-per-view?
Well,
what
because
was the point of putting the title on him?
No point. No point. Especially if Kennedy's the champion in this match. Put it non-title. Yeah, that Undertaker's too big for the United States Championship. He can't put a mid-card title on the Undertaker.
But
that's ridiculous.
It would have been a better story told if Kennedy is fighting tooth and nail to keep his championship.
Yes. Yeah.
And the fact that the United States champion is going into this match the underdog, it really shows that Vince didn't give a flying fuck about the United States title. The way Kennedy holds it to the ring, that title is a prop. And take that as foreshadowing.
It is a star-spangled prop, for lack of a better term.
But with that being said, I thought this match was excellent.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't.
Excellent.
This match was way too long. It was 20 minutes, and it had a horrible finish.
Hold on. Kennedy wrestled this match very well. The Undertaker bumped like crazy for him. He made him work. He sold like crazy for him too. And I think Kennedy pulled out some really cool like Hail Mary spots on the Undertaker.
He pulled out a broski boot. You remember that?
Kennedy drops Taker with the pile driver.
Yep. Yeah.
How many wrestlers would Undertaker just let hit a pile drive on?
And JBL sitting there on commentary saying, "Oh, low blow, poke to the eye, Ken." And I'm like, wouldn't that get him disqualified? Like, why would you why would you want a disqualification finish on a pay-per-view? Like,
ironic.
That's ridiculous.
I think for what these two did, I thought this was a very well wrestled match. I thought they had good chemistry, and I thought the drama spots were really good. Kennedy hits a pile driver. He hits the Kenton bomb. He hits Taker with almost everything, and Taker is barely kicking out. If you would have told me in this match that Kennedy would have Taker on the mat with his hands around his throat, they gave Kennedy a lot of offense in this match.
They did. There was some good near falls, like getting closer to the end of the match. I think, honestly, like the final part of the match, except for the finish, that's where the match, I think, really like kicked into another gear for me. Because I'll be honest, the crowd was kind of quiet for a good chunk of this match, especially when Kennedy was on offense. Taker starts making his comeback and attempts the last ride, but a good counter by Kennedy out of it. Referee Charles Robinson does not see an exposed turnbuckle, and Kennedy sends Taker face first into it. The Kenton bomb for a really good near fall, leading to Taker doing his signature sit-up. Kennedy brings the U.S. title belt into the ring, which the referee pulls away from him.
And did you notice during this little struggle, Kennedy was going, "Give it to me, give it to me,
give me the title right now. Give me the title." I'm
thought it was.
I'm gonna cheat. Give me the title.
That made me chuckle. No, if Kennedy wanted to learn how to cheat, he needed to learn from the master, John Cena. The referee's down.
I'm gonna go get the title.
The referee's down, so I can hit him with the title,
and I can cheat. I can cheat
because I'm the never seen 17.
God damn it! John Cena was on Raw, you asshole.
I don't want John Cena to retire.
I don't either. Well, we have plenty of chances to talk about him in the retro when he's all done, so it's okay. It is okay. We'll get through it together. Taker then grabs the title. The referee says, "You can't use this." And then Taker's like, "Son, I can't use this title. I don't even want it."
Yeah.
Disqualification.
And Taker gets himself disqualified, which is wild.
It's so stupid. It's so stupid.
Kind of made The Undertaker look like a geek.
Well, yeah. Yeah.
It kind of made Taker look like, I can't beat this guy, so I'm just going to get myself disqualified.
He's a coward.
They really, really, really wanted to do this spot, they could have did what they did at Great American Bash, where Taker hits him with the belt, but he doesn't realize that the referee sees him. That would have worked a little better.
Or better yet.
What? No, hear me out. You might think I'm a little crazy for this. It's kind of a hot take.
There we go.
I think the match would have had a little more impact if The Undertaker just won.
I think you want to know what makes, you want to know what would put Kennedy over huge? If he beats Taker clean as a whistle for the U.S. title. If he retains it flat out. Maybe he hits Taker with the title. Maybe he uses the exposed turnbuckle, but he just pins Taker 1, 2, 3 in the middle of the ring.
Now, this reminds me of a certain match, and I think this match would be more equivalent to that if Taker would have just won. Speaking of John Cena versus The Undertaker at Vengeance 2003.
Yep.
That was an excellent match.
That was way better than this match.
Taker made Cena look like $1 million, and The Undertaker won. If Undertaker would have produced this good of a quality match from Kennedy and just beat him, that would have been fine. The feud would have continued. Kennedy could have attacked him after the match. He could have attacked him on the next SmackDown, because this isn't the only match they're going to have. They're going to have 2 more matches on pay-per-view.
Yeah, this is the start of a trilogy.
I don't think a disqualification was needed. And I get why they did it. I get why they did it. So it's a Kennedy thing, because that's what Kennedy does afterward. He says he beat and he did. He beat The Undertaker. It's one of the easiest heel tropes in the book. It doesn't matter
dumb.
How Kennedy won. Kennedy won. Kennedy beat The Undertaker. I get it, but
so Kennedy at this point has beaten 6 former world champions, 2 of them on pay-per-view, and Batista and Undertaker, and both of them were DQs. Kennedy won. Yeah, no, an ugly win. Yeah, but this isn't the NFL. I'd much rather take an ugly win as a Seahawks fan than a respectful loss, because a win's a win. But in the world of pro wrestling, in the world of storytelling, where this is supposed to be fake and the results are predetermined, this is stupid. You mean to tell me that a 16-year veteran in The Undertaker has no interest in winning this match, and then he just gives up and hits the guy with the title? Lame.
He doesn't even, he tombstones Kennedy after the match, but if he should have taken the Batista route at the Bash. He should have fucking chokeslammed him, given him the last right through the announce table, tombstoned him on the steel steps. If you're going to beat the fuck out of this guy, beat the fuck out of him like Batista did.
Yeah. Yeah, beat Kennedy to a bloody pulp where he needs 20 staples in his head.
And then Kennedy still has his hand raised at the end of the match. I get why they went this route, but I would have preferred it if just Undertaker would have won.
Yeah, I agree with that.
You're going to disagree with me. I'm still going to give the match 3 3/4. I like the wrestling. In fact, this was my match of the night.
No, this was far from match of the night for me. 2.5.
Oh, wow.
Match was, number one, it was too long. I think if you shaved 5 minutes off this thing, it would have been a lot better. And as good as the last 5 minutes would have been, it's completely derailed by a DQ finish that you pay $45 to see. Like,
yeah, I'm gonna stick with it. I think Taker should have just won. But you want to hear funny stories? That house show that I was talking about earlier, they ran this match back, Kennedy versus Undertaker. And what do you know? Undertaker
and there was a DQ finish. Oh no,
Undertaker just straight up won. But before the match, I think this was like a week after No Mercy, so it was pretty fresh. And Kennedy comes out and he cuts a promo before the match, and he is just gloating like crazy. And when he's doing his intro, he goes, "He hails from Green Bay, Wisconsin. He is the man that is gonna whoop that ass one more time." Like, he was on it about that fact that he beat the Undertaker.
I'd be willing to bet that those matches were far better than this one was.
I mean, from what I remember, sure.
Yeah,
it was a house show.
I'd be willing to bet that. Hey, house show matches can be fucking great. I remember an NXT house show I went to between. It was main evented by Bobby Roode and Roderick Strong for the NXT title. That match was a banger. It was so good.
Let me guess. Johnny Gargano pointed to you wearing his shirt, and he gave you a thumbs up. So you guys are besties now.
So up next is arguably the best match on the evening. Rey Mysterio versus Chavo Guerrero with Vicky in Chavo's corner. This time it's falls count anywhere. Anything goes. They can brawl all over the building. Feels like a blow-off to this feud, but ironically enough, it isn't. This is a different layer has been added into this since we last talked about these two at SummerSlam. Now Vicky Guerrero has turned heel and aligned herself with her widow's nephew. So they are now business partners. And get used to seeing Vicky Guerrero on your screen as a heel because, oh boy, it's going to be a long, long journey with her as a heel on SmackDown.
So like 2014, we're talking 8 or 9 years of Vicky Guerrero as this character on TV. And the other thing that the story coincides with is that Rey Mysterio is in a slump. He lost the World Heavyweight Championship. He lost the Chavo at SummerSlam. Vicky Guerrero turned on him. There's a couple of matches he has on SmackDown, one where he wrestles Finlay, and Rey goes for a springboard move, and he just slips and falls. He wrestles Kennedy. He tries to jump off the top rope. He slips and falls. Rey Mysterio has lost his mojo, and he has Chavo Guerrero to thank for that. So he needs to end this grudge once and for all in a falls count anywhere at No Mercy.
Yeah.
This match was fun. This match was fine. I don't know. There was something about it, though, that didn't really click for me.
You think
Number one, they only got 12 minutes.
You think there was too much crowd brawling?
I think so, yes. And here's a hot take. I'm not a big fan of crowd brawling. And that's because there's only so much you can do. And two, you clearly can tell that these wrestlers are set on a predetermined path to just work their way through the crowd. And all they do is punch each other, slam their heads off of certain things. Occasionally you'll get the cool spot of them jumping off of a balcony. But other than that, there's not really much to crowd brawling. I get it. It's there for the fans. The fans are going to go absolutely ape shit that wrestlers are fighting right next to them. But other than that, it doesn't do anything for me.
Imagine being a spectator in the building, and if you're not in a position that is on said path, then you're really kind of just looking at the Titantron for a good chunk of the match. And it's like, this is what we paid all this money to see?
Raise your hand if you've ever been at a live show where they did crowd brawling and you are just desperately trying to find out where the fuck they are. I'm raising my hand right now.
I can think of when we went to Revolution in San Francisco, the final burial match when Jack Perry and Christian brawled up like towards our section. That was fun. That was a lot of fun. They got pretty close to us.
Raise your hand if you've ever attended a pay-per-view where you had to watch the entire match on the Titantron. Too soon? Too soon?
Yeah.
Too soon.
Fucking House of Horrors match.
It was a great match.
No, bullshit. No, it wasn't. But again, it's all built around the fact that Rey Mysterio is not a Guerrero, and he's leeching off the Guerrero name and paying tribute to Chavo's uncle, Eddie. And I'm like,
we are almost 1 year removed from Eddie's death.
Almost a year after he died, and you're still on this shit. Like, move on. Let the family grieve. Thank you for giving Vicky money in the year after that Eddie passed away. But like, stop using it as storyline bait. It's tiresome. I'm sick of it. Like,
Well, thankfully we're nearing the end of it.
we are at the end of it. We are at the end of it. This is the last. This is the last time we talk about Rey Mysterio on these pay-per-views for a good while.
And we will talk about that once we get to the conclusion of this match, because I don't want to say the finish was underwhelming, but it kind of came out of nowhere, didn't it?
Yeah, no. So these guys are brawling all over the place. There is a cool thing where Rey Mysterio is hanging off of like one of the set pieces, and he hits a Hurricane Rana on Chavo close by the entrance.
Oh yeah, that part was cool. Like the first half of the match, when they were wrestling near the ring and on the entrance ramp, was fine. I think what I like about Falls Count Anywhere matches is when they go backstage. When they go,
but they did not go backstage.
When they go in the concourse, when they, I want to see a Falls Count Anywhere where it's like, here comes the pain rules, and they're fucking wrestling on the streets.
I remember as a kid, as someone who would play SmackDown Shut Your Mouth and Here Comes the Pain, like, religiously. One of my favorite stipulation matches to play was Falls Count Anywhere because of all the environmental brawling that I could do. That was so much fun. And as a kid, when I would watch this match, and I was watching this match, and I was like, that was kind of a letdown. It was kind of a letdown. I wanted them to brawl more places.
When it comes to Falls Count Anywhere matches, this is not in my top 5.
No.
It's perfectly fine, but I kind of wanted more. And let me guess, your favorite thing to do in Here Comes the Pain was to throw wrestlers off the SmackDown fist.
Oh, that was so fun. That was so fun. Or to climb up a helicopter that was at WWF New York.
The fucking helicopter.
It was fucking awesome. But Mysterio hits a 619 off of a railing in the crowd area.
I mean, that was cool.
That was cool. And then he hits
He
hits a cross-body like maneuver plancha off the tunnel where the hockey players come out. And clearly Chavo was landing on carpet, not on concrete. And Rey Mysterio, after 12 minutes, pins and wins. Jimmy Corderas gets down on the floor and counts the pinfall. And Rey Mysterio seemingly puts his foe away. I'm going to give it 3.5. It was fun enough. It was a fun bit of brawling, I guess. But
man, we are completely on different sides of the spectrum when it comes to this show, because I'm giving it 2 3/4.
Damn.
It was fine. It was perfectly fine for me.
Yeah.
I just some more creative spots. I mean, it's Rey and Chavo. The fact that this is probably their second to weakest match in their feud. Wait till we get to SummerSlam 2007. I fucking hated that match.
Yeah, where Rey
Mysterio talking about Rey, because the blow off to their feud is a couple weeks later on SmackDown when they have an I Quit match where Chavo did win by wrapping Rey in kind of like the entranceway, one of the fixtures up there.
He hog-tied him.
Yeah, hog-tied him and smashed the steel chair over and over and over into his left knee, where Rey screamed, "I quit." Rey actually did have to get knee surgery after that, and we're not going to be seeing Rey for a very long time, and Rey's going to have horrible luck when it comes to injuries. We just talked about him winning the world title at WrestleMania 22. His next WrestleMania is WrestleMania 25.
Yeah. So he missed the next 2 WrestleManias because of injury. Yeah. So, and not all of them were infamously known to be in his left knee. But
dare I say, if Rey ever needed to be written off TV, this was the time, because the fans were kind of getting tired of him. The Eddie booking was not doing him any favors. I don't want to say Rey kind of lost his luster after this. After he's finally done with all of his injuries, he does make like a short run in 2007 before he gets injured again. I want to say when he comes back fully healthy in 2008, and especially in 2009, he's back. I think 08 and 09 are probably his best years.
09 especially.
Yeah, his run as the Intercontinental Champion is so underrated.
I love that. I love that part of Mysterio's career. It's so good.
It's going to be such a rocky road for Rey, because after that, 2010 and 2011 didn't really do him any favors. He completely lost himself in 2012, 2013. And by 2014, he was let go of the company. And we know what happened after that. He came back in 2018, and he's still going strong to this day. It's crazy the twists and turns for Ray's career after this is, yeah,
He was
it,
part of
it's it,
the. Crazy to think that he was also part of the inaugural All In 2018.
yeah, yeah.
I constantly forget that he was part of that event. Like, it's insane to me. But
Honestly, I feel like
yeah,
this injury, this is a canon event for Rey Mysterio. There was no avoiding this for him.
I had surgery 5 times in my left knee. That
I think I broke my tailbone.
images you can hear.
I tore the pectoral muscle completely off my shoulder.
How's he even able to stand? Is what I want to know. He don't have a damn clue where he is.
I think I broke my tailbone. The way Kurt Angle says that, he's excited to say it. I think I broke my tailbone.
How do you learn to fall off a 20-foot ladder?
The pain that I experienced can be compared to no other. Be safe. Don't try this. I like how it says don't try this at home, but John Cena just said, no, just don't try this. Just don't fucking try this at all.
just don't try it. Just
don't do it. Just don't fucking do it. Abandon your dreams. Just give up. Heel John Cena says give up.
Completely discouraging the next generation from becoming wrestlers.
Yeah, heel John Cena be like, just give up. Remember when heel John Cena was confirmed for Avengers Doomsday?
This is so dumb. This is so dumb. Okay, so it feels like these jokes are punishment here, but this next match is punishment for one of these competitors. And it's a bonus match of all things. Yeah.
And it's one of the best matches on the show.
I would argue that it is the best match on the show.
William Regal makes his way to the ring, and he is met for a matchup by the returning Rabid Wolverine, Chris Benoit.
Oh, Chris boy.
Benoit, written off television in May to take care of some injuries and to take some personal time off.
To take a sabbatical.
Yeah. That's crazy how they mentioned that on TV. Just it's eerie because, guys, around this time next year, Benoit's going to be dead. So
he's going to be way down there for sure. And let's it's kind of haunting to think that this is the beginning of the end and the final run of Chris Benoit that we will ever see. And so he was written off of TV in May because of a beating that he took from one Great Khali. And I will never forget the image of Benoit biting the ring skirt and just sheer pain because of the beating that Khali gave him. But in reality, Benoit, it was 6 months after Eddie had passed away. He was never given that proper time to grieve for his best friend. So I think I think WWE made him do it because Benoit was not willing to take time off. Yeah, and it's like, hey, if you don't take this time off, you're fired. You know? Yeah. For your own good and for the good of your family, take this time off. And it's just haunting. It really is.
If for some reason you want more details about this, go watch the Dark Side of the Ring episode on this.
Which I'm sure
we ever could.
Yeah, which I'm sure is something it's not something that I am. It's still the darkest day in wrestling history, the darkest weekend in wrestling history. But when that time comes in the retro, if you want us to go into more detail about it and talk about that episode, let us know down in the comments.
What I would want to do honestly is talk about where we were, what we were doing, and how it affected us, because I think I was too young to grasp. I mean, I knew what happened and I knew how it made me feel. It made me feel angry, but I think I was too young to truly grasp what the fuck happened. And I will admit, I do go into my weird fixation, my weird rabbit holes on YouTube, and I have watched so many video essays, so many videos, chronic documentary style, crime documentaries on the Benoit case, and I'm still learning new details to this day. And it's still I feel like that childhood trauma is finally catching up to me to be I was in middle school when this happened.
I was
too young and innocent to truly grasp what the fuck happened.
I was just leaving fourth grade going into fifth when this happened.
Yeah, too young for us. Too young for us for that to happen.
So, let's we're gonna go into we're gonna critique these matches as we normally do, but it's like if we feel a little bit uneasy when we talk about this version of Chris Benoit, there's a reason for it. And
yeah, because it's creeping closer and closer to us talking about.
Eerily enough, he is wrestling the closest thing he has to a neighbor in Fayette County, Georgia, in William Regal. And these guys put on a fantastic wrestling match with ample preparation time. It was insanely good.
Insanely stiff. Oh my god.
These guys beat the crap out of each other. And
They're
Benoit
beating the fuck out of each other. Regal's bleeding, and Benoit goes to the corner to chop him, and he chops him in the fucking face.
Benoit hits him with one of the hardest headbutts I've ever heard in my life. And
can we please appreciate Regal's selling?
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
My God, he does not get enough credit for his selling.
Again, best wrestler to never win a world championship is William Regal. I will die on that hill. These guys even have a test of strength. JBL calls this match a thing of beauty, Maggle. And I'm like, this match is bowling shoe ugly in terms of how hard these guys are nailing each other. They are just beating each other from Raleigh all the way over to Greensboro, all the way back to Charlotte, all the way over to Fayetteville. North Carolina was never the same after this match, that's for sure.
There was good technical wrestling, there was good storytelling, there was hard striking, there was very good sequences.
Yeah,
Regal
really
delivers a couple of exploder suplexes, and then he randomly does this sitting knee drop thing on top of Benoit, and the sequence was just beautiful. You have William Regal on your roster. Why are you not doing anything with this guy?
I know, right? Yeah, and Regal, the way he counters out of the sharpshooter, which I can sit here and argue that Benoit has one of the best sharpshooters in wrestling history.
Oh, yeah.
Probably arguably only behind the Hart family themselves. And Benoit was,
dare I say, second to Brett.
Benoit was one of Stu Hart's star pupils from the dungeon. So that goes without saying that his sharpshooter would be fantastic. But
and Benoit's sharpshooter, it's better than The Rock's. But then again, my 3-year-old niece could do the sharpshooter better than The Rock.
way better than The Rock's sharpshooter. Anybody's sharpshooter is better than The Rock.
Your cat could probably do the sharpshooter better than The Rock.
Yeah, Remy could give a sharpshooter better than The Rock. My girlfriend could probably put on a better sharpshooter than The Rock could.
Why is your cat named after a rat?
Because he likes food.
But it's a rat.
He loves food. And it's close enough to his given name from The Shelter. Calm down.
Then damn, call me Remy, because I love food too.
Jeez. All right, so Regal bleeding from the head. There's a big gash going across his forehead. Benoit's bleeding from the mouth. Oddly enough, not from the gap that he has there. The toothless aggression thing. Dragon suplex by Benoit, knee to the face. Oh my god. These guys are just beating 50 shades of shit out of each other. Benoit then slaps on the crippler crossface. Regal taps out after an 11-minute clinic. It feels like these guys got way more than 11 minutes, but great pace to it. And JBL is like, that was a physical masterpiece. And I'm like, again, you're calling it a masterpiece right away when the match is only seconds old.
Also, I'm pretty sure at some point in the match, JBL says, this is the competition I was talking about. I want to put MVP in a triple threat match with these guys. I'm like, what does MVP have to do with this?
Well, MVP is going to have a lot to do with Benoit's final months on this planet. So, I'll just tell you that much. Jesus. Do I go 4 stars on this? Do I? Is the match too short for 4 stars?
Bucket.
Yeah. Might as well. This is the best match on the show, and it's a bonus match.
How crazy is it that the 2 best matches on pay-per-view in 2006 were bonus matches?
What?
Benoit Regal and Benoit and Finlay?
On pay-per-view? No, those 2 matches were not better than Angle and Taker and No Way Out. Those two matches were not better than Cena and Edge at Unforgiven the month before. Like, I don't.
Arguments can be made for Cena Edge.
I mean, I wouldn't say these are the two best pay-per-view matches of 2006. I mean, there no way that these matches were better than Angle and Taker. No fucking way.
Two of the best.
Yeah, or two of the best. Yeah, but oh man, I mean, I think again that's just a testament to Benoit's work ethic and his talent, even in the final months of his life, and even if his head wasn't completely in the right space. Like, it's almost like, again, the lights are on upstairs, but nobody's home. Like, you just turn the machine on and it goes to work.
Benoit knew one thing and one thing only during his time for wrestling.
Yep. I mean, it's the only thing he ever knew.
Yeah.
Like, he couldn't like, run a restaurant. He can't run his own business. Like, come on. You really think he could have done that? So... Anyway, Regal goes to the back after being soundly beaten, soundly punished, and out comes King Booker. Regal goes through Gorilla, which was rare that we saw that in 2006. But King Booker is waiting for him outside Gorilla position. And King Booker is reprimanding this man for not bringing Finlay to him and failing in his quest. And he says, "You disgust me." And then Regal punches Booker square in the jaw, and I'm like, this is a babyface turn and a half. King Booker's court has completely crumbled, and like after this, I'm like, I want to see Regal challenge Booker for the belt. Like,
yeah, that should have been a SmackDown match.
It should have been a pay-per-view match. Fuck it.
It should have at least main evented a SmackDown.
Fuck it. Batista wasn't winning the title. Like, put Regal in that match at Survivor Series. That would have drawn. Like, yeah. I don't care.
That would have been in an alternate universe, yeah.
I love Big Dave too, but I think the more compelling story was Booker versus Regal. So,
but Vince just saw Regal as a comedy act, which is insane.
Saw Regal as a comedy act, and he needed his muscly babyface on SmackDown. So,
yeah. Speaking of that muscly babyface, how about two muscly babyfaces in the main event?
Yeah, one with personality and the other one with the charisma of freaking coffee table. I don't know. Yeah. So
I don't know, man. I've seen coffee tables before. They're pretty interesting.
Yeah, but stop me if you've heard this one. It's a fatal four-way match for the World Heavyweight Championship, just like we talked about at Clash in Paris. It's King Booker against all odds with pretty much all by himself because Queen Sharmell is just his valet. He's going up against Finlay, his rogue court jester, Bobby Lashley on the anniversary of Eat 'em!
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's right.
And, of course, our buddy Big Dave, Drax the Destroyer himself. So,
Mr. Basketballs don't have feelings.
Good Lord. So, no Sharmell, thank God, doing the All Hail King Booker line during his entrance. That would get her so much heat. It would get her so much heat. It was annoying as fuck, man. Come on. You were glad that she wasn't doing it. You were so happy she wasn't doing it. Yeah. So the
way we got to this match was, Queen Sharmell helped Booker T retain the World Heavyweight Championship at SummerSlam by getting himself disqualified. They had a rematch on SmackDown, and Finlay helped Booker retain the championship, and Batista would no longer get a shot. So Bobby Lashley and Finlay had a number one contenders match on SmackDown to determine the winner, and Bobby Lashley won. So our matches were set. Bobby Lashley was going to challenge King Booker for the World Heavyweight Championship, and Batista and Finlay were supposed to have a grudge match because Finlay cost Batista the title match.
Give those guys a stipulation. Give them like Belfast Brawl or something.
Yeah, that could have been fun.
That could
have been a lot of fun.
Or a good old-fashioned Donnybrook match. That would have been fun.
Like we said, something probably turned in Vince McMahon's head, and he didn't think Booker and Lashley could sell a pay-per-view as the main event. So they just combined the two matches and made it a fatal four-way.
Yeah, Vince McMahon saying two black guys can't main event a pay-per-view. Yeah, go fuck yourself. How about that? How about that?
I mean, I will say Bobby Lashley at this point, maybe not so. Like, we're still very much in green as grass, can't cut a promo to save his life.
If
meathead Bobby Lashley.
If ECW December to Dismember is anything to be believed, I find that sentiment very, very hard to trust, my friend. Because Vince really wanted to push Bobby Lashley. Like,
well, do I need to remind you of, you say your name is Finlay and you love to fight? Well, I say your name is Finlay and you're a bastard.
Eat him!
There's this episode of Pokemon that features the Pokemon Ditto. I'm going somewhere with this. Let me cook. And Ditto can transform into any Pokemon he wants. But Ditto has like these little beady eyes and this little mouth, and that's how you can tell it's a Ditto. In this episode, he transforms into a Machoke. And Machoke is just like this big, yoked kind of wrestler-like Pokemon. That's what Bobby Lashley is. He's a meathead with no personality. He is a Ditto transformed into a Machoke.
Going on a Pokemon tangent on a wrestling podcast.
I would love to do that, honestly.
only on the ZNT wrestling show, apparently. So Batista and Lashley are, doing their double team thing. I remember there was a photo in a wrestling magazine that I saw all the time of Lashley and Batista holding up Finlay in a double vertical suplex, and they're both doing this, and they're just kind of smirking at each other.
Pretty cool photo.
Yeah, there were a couple of points like that in this match.
Do you remember when they called Batista and Bobby Lashley the Dream Team? Like, not officially, but I remember Booker and Finlay faced off against Lashley and Batista on a tag match, and they were billing it as the Dream Team versus Finlay and Booker.
Bullshit. The 2007 New England Patriots were a dream team.
Like, they were billing Batista and Lashley like Batman meeting Superman. It was crazy.
Jeez Louise, yeah. And these guys, JBL is calling Finlay a disingenuous bastard for wanting to win the World Heavyweight Championship and not helping his king out.
Yeah, for betraying his king. This is treason. My God.
Treason. So what? Finlay wants to be the champion, like everybody should be.
I think this was a fun enough, chaotic Fatal 4-Way.
Yeah.
It had all the points. I think that's all you could ask for with these four guys. It'd be chaotic.
Yeah, the crowd was definitely hot for this thing as the main event of the show, and they were definitely into it. They wanted to see Booker lose his belt, and they were, as usual in a Fatal 4-Way match, if the heel is going in with a 25% chance to retain the title, it's a lot like we saw with Bradshaw at Armageddon 2004, your favorite show of all time. They were building it up like it was, this is insurmountable. He can't overcome this. And sure enough, the heel finds a way to win. So they're all hitting their big moves. Hornswoggle does get involved at one point. He shows
Is he being called Hornswoggle at this point?
No, he's still called the little bastard, but I'm calling him Hornswoggle just
to... No. I'm just wondering, because I'm wondering where we are at the timeline, because I know shortly after this, he's going to interfere in a match, and Finlay's going to get so angry with Michael Cole. And he goes up to Michael Cole and says, his name is not little bastard. His name is Hornswoggle. I
was in the building for that match. It was a triple threat. It was a triple threat Money in the Bank qualifier with Finlay, Benoit, and MVP. It was in San Jose.
We're not there yet. That is closer to WrestleMania. Okay, yeah. So we still the little troll, the little bastard, the little leprechaun. Okay,
the little bastard. Yeah, I was in the building for that match. I remember. So, anyway. The referee tries to find the little leprechaun. Finlay hits Lashley square in the head with a shillelagh, and it drops Lashley quicker than elevated liver enzymes. If there's no disqualification, I know, man. Yeah, if there's no disqualifications, why? This is what bugs me about this. Why does the referee have to look away if there's no disqualifications? Why does it matter?
Yeah, I agree. That is stupid as fuck. Yeah, what are you gonna do? Disqualify that one person in the match?
Yeah, good saves in this match. Booker breaks up the pinfall, and I love the urgency that the King had here, because he was constantly trying to protect his holy grail. And anytime, because again, per Fatal 4-Way rules, if you're not involved in the decision, you can still lose your title. And Booker was trying to save every which pinfall he could. So
My favorite spot of the match, because it was so stiff, Batista hits a Batista bomb onto Finlay, and then Lashley comes out of fucking nowhere and spears the dog shit out of Batista.
my
Probably the best
God.
spear Lashley has ever delivered.
Do you remember Batista for a short time using the jackhammer as a
I
signature move?
do. Oh my
Man,
God, I do. Remember when he used the ankle lock for like 2 weeks?
I don't remember that actually.
Yeah,
I
he did it
don't
for like
remember
two
that.
weeks in 2009.
Yeah, JBL says he wants to see the two freaks go at it. Batista and Lashley have a stare down. They smile at each other, the two muscle-bound meatheads. Lashley looks at Batista and says, "Eat him! Eat
I'm
him!"
going to be perfectly honest. If you would have taken a 2014 Batista and a 2021 Bobby Lashley, that would be a fun Haas fight.
Don't tempt me with a good time.
Yeah, if only.
Don't tempt me with a good time, especially since Lashley never seems to age. He's still wrestling to this very day at a very
Oh, you
high
want me
level.
to tease you with the even better time?
What's that?
Imagine a 94 Brett versus a 2005 Kurt Angle.
The dream match that apparently Kurt Angle pitched for WrestleMania 18 instead of wrestling Kane. He wanted to wrestle Bret Hart in Canada, but Kurt Angle apparently forgot that Bret had a stroke shortly before that. So
I blame Bill Goldberg.
why Goldberg? Why Goldberg?
It's all Bill Goldberg's fault.
Yeah. Awesome rock bottom by Booker T on Bobby Lashley, by the way. Good near fall there. Finlay goes back in. What are you talking about? He was hitting him with the rock bottom. It's the same
Jericho
move.
bottom.
The Jericho bottom?
The worst joke I've ever made. And that was like one of our first pods.
Or what about...
we grow. We learn and we grow.
Yeah, we learn and we grow. What about the Brock bottom at SummerSlam 2002 when Brock stole the finisher?
Oh my God.
And Taz...
Let me guess, you were losing your mind right now because John Cena is stealing so many finishers.
I want him to hit the Cena bottom.
Oh, Jesus Christ. He has to. He has to at least once.
If he hits an F5 this Saturday on Brock Lesnar, I'm going to lose my shit.
Yes.
I'm going to lose my shit. Batista...
What if John Cena hits the diverticulitis on Brock Lesnar?
Easy. Calm down. Batista hits a Batista bomb on Finlay, the Big Dave bomb. Lashley, like you said, hits him with a Goldberg-like spear, and then King Booker, the sneaky little shithead, picks up the scraps and pins his former court jester to get the pinfall to retain the title, escaping by the skin of his ass to set up the Survivor Series main event against Big Dave. Because Big Dave got the last big shot in this battle, and Booker picked up the scraps off a Big Dave move. So,
but first, before we get to Survivor Series, the King is going to make a little pit stop at Monday Night Raw.
Oh,
and we're going to go into a little side story, a very weird side story. I still don't know to this day why the fuck they did this, but
it was to drive up pay-per-view buy rates because they didn't think that Raw by itself could sell a pay-per-view.
I will say, when we get to that show, it did lead to some very entertaining in-ring promos between the three champions.
It did, and it unfortunately led to one of my least favorite John Cena feuds of all time, but...
Yeah, we'll get to that when we get to that, which will be next. I'm going to give No Mercy a solid 7 out of 10, like a solid C+.
I'm going to do a 7 as well. And by the way, that main event gets a 3.5 stars. It was a very fun match. Big spots galore. I think all four guys got their chance to shine. I liked that Finlay was also getting some close calls towards the title, and I liked his chase. But yeah, this show also was on the shorter side of WWE pay-per-views, only running about 2.5 hours. Usually pay-per-views ran 2 hours 45 back in the day because they had a strict timeline to keep, and they had to make sure they didn't go close to the 3-hour timeline for like Dish and DirecTV and cable providers. So
I wouldn't say there was nothing inherently horrible about this show. I just think, to your point, there was a lot of filler.
There was a lot
solid.
Of fluff.
There was a lot of unnecessary filler on the show between the Miz and Big Dick Johnson in-ring segment to, all the backstage shenanigans to, there was a lot of just unnecessary fluff on the show.
The MVP squash match.
Yeah.
two titles not being defended, but the champions having one-on-one contests. Like,
I will say the first half of the show was all right. I think it really picked up in the second half of the show, and
yeah,
I think a couple of these matches could have benefited from, like, Ray and Chavo. They should have given him like 5 more minutes.
yeah, and vice versa. They should have shaved 5 minutes off of Taker and Kennedy, right?
I don't know. I thought that match was pretty good.
I mean, their match at Armageddon was way better than this.
So
At least I
I will
thought.
say about this show, color me pleasantly surprised. It
Yeah.
was actually a solid enough show.
Way,
Not a bad way to spend an evening.
yeah, way better show than it had any right to be. If you haven't seen it in a while, definitely has our stamp of approval. It sounds like. I think it's a solid, thumb leaning up show. I will. It's certainly not the case when we talk about Cyber Sunday, which is next on the retrospective docket. That show sucks.
Oh boy,
That show
have
sucks.
that whole concept just doesn't work. I think 2007 is even worse. And 2008 is at least a fun time, but not like that blows you out of the water.
There's no way 2007 was worse than 06.
I
Absolutely no
remember
shot.
07, they released like the entire card in one night, and I just stared at it going, that's it? These are our choices?
At least he had some decent enough matches on that. Cyber Sunday 06 does not, at least in my recollection. But guys, thank you again for your continued patience with us as we continue to crank these out. Hit that subscribe button if you're new. We got a packed weekend of wrestling with WrestlePalooza and All Out going head to head. We're going to be reviewing both shows. Again, I appreciate your patience with us in advance. Thank you again. Tomas, any final thoughts before we wrap it up?
I'm glad we are finally back on the train of retrospectives because these are so fun to look at.
Yes.
Stay tuned. We have a crazy weekend coming up with WrestlePalooza and All Out.
Yeah.
I really wish these companies would. I wish WWE would fucking lay off of AEW so we can breathe. I do not enjoy these double show days. They are not fun. They
it's
make me
too
feel
chaotic.
poopy. Yeah, too chaotic.
Yeah. But guys, thank you again for your continued support. Commence that back talk. Talk to you guys soon.